When we lead with love, we carry it 24/7. And when we teach with love, we make sure our students don't forget it. To be black and to educate, to be superhero without the applause. It's to show up and show out no matter the cause. It's to play for the students no matter the winner. Because when we work arm in arm, the impact is bigger. Welcome to Untenured Podcast, where educators have a space to speak their truth. So tap in and listen to the very voices that mold our youth.
Bright, bold Black History Month blessings, Vibe Tribe, and thank you for pulling up and tapping in for another conscious convo for the culture this season 2 of our Untenured Pod. The mic is glowing right now because we are overflowing with gratitude and excitement to kick off February with this beautiful melanated educator soul and low-key our favorite teacher coach. And you know how our motto goes here in our house: speaking your truth can never go left because it's your right. We are passing the virtual mic from being unentitled with Kwame Safro-Mensah to a dynamic, radical left teacher queen who plays no games in her passion to coach other educators to be hella revolutionary. Yes. By day, she's a 6th grade global history teacher and student government leader, and by night, a rigor and joy revolutionary, a personal trainer for educators fighting the system from inside without burning out. The creator and force behind Black on Black education and the Liberation Library, built for the pedagogue who knows better and is damn sure ready to do better, to quote herself. Through coaching and youth-powered curriculum, she's flipping top-down systems and putting students in the driver's seat where she says they've always belonged. And who says that a pod host can't be a pod guest? Yes, she's got her own dope pod called The Resistance, where every episode is a reminder that rigor, joy, and student voice are resistance tools. And when used intentionally, to quote her, they push back against standardization, compliance culture, and systems that harm Black and brown kids. She's unafraid to say how trash the system is, and even louder about the strategies, lessons, and love needed for the real revolution. She's been about that life, and since I stalk and subscribe to her newsletter, I know that she's the oldest of 4, and she was the kid who stood up in 4th grade and yelled at the teacher for lying to the class about roses sitting at the front of the bus. Yes, girl, I read your newsletter. And so this queen is a rigor-raising, resistance-rooted revolutionary, the epitome of educator excellence, a purpose-driven pedagogy powerhouse, a brilliant builder, podcasting power player, and fearless truth teller who's all about being fulfilled and not fried. So please believe this episode will stir up movement-making energy. Pod listeners, help me give the biggest big ups to the Mrs. Evalaurene Jean-Charles.
Come on. Oh my goodness. I have to just hold space for that. That was so beautiful.
You. And that's all you.
And I am accepting it. I am taking it. I am grateful. And I am so excited to be here. And I'm absolutely going to need you to send me that bio because I'm going to start using it because I need to start bigging myself up like that.
Well, listen, please do. And although I would never charge, I'm down to be your big up hype woman and record it or whatever you need. I'll send it in writing and voice and audio because it really is a beautiful thing what you have cultivated and are growing and building in your platform. And so happy Black History Lifetime, because Black History is no month here. It's a mindset. And Absolutely. For those who don't know, it's the 100th anniversary. 1926, Carter G. Woodson started Negro Week. You know the history, and if you don't, I'm gonna need you to Google that because this platform is not for that, but to big up Mrs. Eva. How are you feeling today?
I am feeling so good. Before we started recording, this work fuels me. And so when people ask me this question of how do you do this and how do you get all this done, I am not going to sit here and lie to you and say I don't be tired, say I don't be aggravated, say I don't get frustrated easily sometimes. Like I'm not that social media girl. But this work fuels me. And so, yes, I was at work all day. And yes, I had a meeting after work. And yes, I had a meeting right before this. And yes, we going to light up this mic.
And she's still here.
Let's go.
And so let's go. So it's definitely not rocket science, but please tell us your why. What was stirring in your spirit or soul when you chose to title our conversation Unshakable?
I mean, ain't nobody gonna stop me. It really is just that simple.
Who gonna test me, boo?
Come on. I think people who have been following me for a long time, people who are in my newsletter, like really locked in, I am committed to being vulnerable. I'm committed to being honest. And I lived a very, very, very difficult life. My childhood was very, very hard. My mom struggled with a substance abuse issue my entire life. I lost my mom in my very, very, very early adulthood. I took care of my younger siblings. I experienced various forms of abuse growing up. And so there's so much that I am healing from actively as I sit here. But if that didn't break me, you think somebody on the internet is? You think some white supremacists that are in delusion about what it means to like, that's not going to break me. That's not going to waver me. Do you think the news cycle right now is going to stop me? The news cycle didn't stop Dr. King. It didn't stop Angela Davis. It didn't stop Malcolm X. It didn't stop the people who we look up to. And so why should it stop us? And so I think it's being unshakable is so needed. You can be, you can be taken aback. You can be overwhelmed. You
but not
can
derailed.
Be tired. But I'm not going to be taken off my mission. I'm not going to be someone who sits quiet or idle because someone tells me to. I'm not somebody that's going to take money from somebody that is doing work that I don't believe in, whether I love them or not. And so I think that there is something so important about making the choice to say things are going to get hard. That doesn't mean that things are going to stop me. And that is the resilient energy that I move with, the energy that was given to me by all of the incredible resilient people who came before me, and who am I not to uphold what they have given.
Well, listen, it's no cap. You can follow her on Instagram. She's not new to this. She's true to this at Black on Black Ed. And so put us on. What does it mean to be a revolutionary educator, like especially inside of a system that wasn't built for liberation? Like, what are you like? If you could give us a soundbite, what does that really mean to be revolutionary in an educator's role?
There are 3 pieces. You manage your classroom restoratively. You care about your young people. You have empathy for their experiences, both in and out of the classroom, whether they had a traumatic childhood or are having and experiencing a traumatic childhood or not. I think that we talk a lot about young people that are experiencing trauma and all these things that are hard in their life, but there are also young people who come from a loving home with family that loves them, with siblings that love them, that they deeply enjoy, and maybe reading is a little hard for them. And that is a struggle for them. And caring and having empathy for them and creating community in your classroom so that they feel safe to learn it is revolutionary. And that's restorative classroom management. That is how I manage what's happening in my classroom to lend itself for engaging and collaborative instruction. So that's 2. The second part of my revolutionary teaching framework is how do we engage young people, really engage them, not get them to do the work, which is what you will hear in like, you got to listen to the things that these educators online are saying. They don't do the work. They don't do the work. What is the work? Because if the work is a worksheet that they could chat GPT in 22 seconds, then it's not learning. That's not the work. So the reason why I'm very specific about using language around learning, right? Not about work completion, right? Yes, I got 100% rate. Yes, I have 100% submission rate on my assignments, right? Like, yes, my students are doing the work, but it's because they are doing the learning, and the work is a reflection of the learning that they are doing. And it doesn't mean that they have already learned. Like, there's many of them that they have so much work to do to really get where they need to go, but I'm a block in that stepping stone. And so when they are genuinely engaged, when they are collaborating with one another, when I'm creating space for them to lead, it really does transform the way that they show up and the way that they accomplish or attack the work that I am putting in front of them. And then lastly, it is embodying the identity of a revolutionary educator. I did not start teaching recognizing that what I was doing was revolutionary. But when I thought about my teaching experience and I looked at the hall and I looked down the hall and what was going on in other teachers' classrooms and recognized that it was revolutionary for me to actually and genuinely believe my kids could learn. It was revolutionary for me to believe that I could be joyful in the classroom, that misery wasn't a requirement of the teaching job description. I think that when I embodied when I realized that that's what I was doing, and I realized how revolutionary it was to be doing that, then I realized that I had to embody an identity of somebody who I was not yet. So the minute that I walked into a classroom, I was clear that I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I was clear that students were going to walk away from an experience with me, having planted a seed inside of them that I hope one day grows and flourishes, that I hope is in a facilitating environment to flourish. But the seeds that are not planted can't ever grow. And so my work is embodying the type of person who has enough patience, persistence, resilience, commitment to community, commitment to their values, commitment to my boundaries. So that
part,
commitment to myself, so that I could walk into my classroom and be revolutionary and do the other two things. And so I think those three things combined, when educators start to hone their craft in each of them, starting with the embodiment piece, because it makes it a whole lot easier to do the other two. But everybody's looking for a tip or a trick. So I got that too, honey. I listen. I get it done.
Yes, if you want to do it deeply and sustain it, you got to start with embodying it, right? How are you going to teach if you don't live? And what I love about your platform too is you're really teaching teachers how to move from these controlling classrooms to cultivating communities. And moreover, you say that student voice is the tool, or one of the tools, for revolution. And so understanding in real time how it looks beyond the survey, the suggestion box. Any like rapid fire tips, the way you had those 3 points about revolutionary education, for what student voice can look like as a tool for revolution?
Absolutely. And I think we can't just stop at student voice. There's a lot of schools that are doing student voice, and that's great. But if their voice is just a data point and it's not actually influencing anything, and we're not actually centering the needs of our students, then there's still work to be done. And so I think when we think about student voice and student-centered practices, it starts with, when there's a challenge in your classroom, do you accuse or do you ask questions? And when you decide to ask questions, it puts you in the position to understand why whatever is happening, and then empower students to actually create the solution. So quick example, I had a class that came to me after lunch. It's my largest class of the day. It's my ICT class. It's my class, my babies that need the support, honey.
Yes.
And so, and the first 5-10 minutes of class was just like mapping out arguments from recess. And I was like, well, we can't do this. And so I was getting frustrated, and I was, now every day y'all gonna sit down and be quiet. And I'm thinking of, what is the way for me to fix this? Because it's irritating me. And I want y'all to recognize that the version of me that comes out, that's, can y'all just, and nobody wants to, that's what I know of how to handle children, because that's how I was handled.
Yes.
So you're always going to revert back to how you know, or what you know, because of how you were handled. And so what it takes to decide that you're going to do something differently is to make a micro choice. And the micro choice is to start to ask questions. So why are we not learning for the first 10 minutes of class? And students were saying, oh, well, because we're coming in and we're still fighting from lunch, and we're still upset, and we're still, so y'all are aware. Got it. So now that we know that we're aware that this is an issue, what is it that we can do about it? Because we can't keep having 40-minute classes when we're supposed to have a 50-minute class. Y'all need more than what we got. So
we can't be shaving it down.
We can't be shaving it down. And they were like, well, what if we just left it outside the classroom? I said, that's so incredible. But how? And they were like, well, maybe if you remind us to just like let it go. And I was like, okay. And so then for like a week after that, I was so dramatic. They would stand at the front. I'd be like, force field activated. No recess problems in here. We got, and they would like, yes. And I'd be like, all right, give me a high five to enter the force field. Like literally the most like ridiculous thing. But we ain't missing 10 minutes of class no more.
Yes.
And so because it was their idea, because I just picked up on what they wanted for the solution, I was able to fix the problem in a day that teachers just allow to continue for an entire year. Yes. And I think that's where we start student voice and student-centered practices, is centering what they believe needs to change in how and why and what initiatives we choose as schools, as teachers, etc. Yeah.
Yes, and allowing them to drive the solution that then lives in the classroom, even if it has to get remixed by them, right? Because the ownership and the investment in, oh, this is what I said I was going to do, character development, and that's why it's so much bigger than a tip and a trick. You got to embody it, and I love that you have that vulnerability. I want to switch gears just a little bit because in this theme of revolution, and this might be a hard one, but I know you got it. If you had to chisel your own Mount Rushmore of revolutionaries, who are your core that you're chiseling on the biggest of stone? And this is Mrs. Eva's go-to crew or vibe tribe for revolutionary thinking, teaching, living. I know that might be a challenging one.
Yes. I was like, what's going to be hard? What's going to be hard? And I was like, oh, damn. No, yeah, you're right. That was hard.
You got some there on the wall behind you.
I got some behind me and absolutely. Oh my goodness. I definitely feel like if I'm gonna pick one from back here, just so I don't, when I really think about who transformed my way of thinking about the world and how I engage was James Baldwin. And I think it's because he's so different than who I am as a revolutionary, right? I think the work that he did was revolutionary. I think the time that he did his work in was revolutionary and incredible. I think his choice to leave this country was revolutionary. And I think the diversity of his work is revolutionary. But he was a seer of what was happening, a witness of what was going on, and he communicated what he was witnessing and what he had experienced, obviously. But I think that there's something really, really incredible about being able to be quiet enough. I'm not very quiet. That's not a attribute I have. And so to be quiet enough to see what's happening and then be able to communicate it back so that so many years later you're creating more revolutionaries. So I'm going to put James Baldwin up there.
All right, we got one.
About a text that transformed my relationship with the classroom. We want to do more than survive, Bettina Love.
Come on.
Reading that book made it very clear to me that I was doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing. And it made it additionally clear how I was supposed to be doing it. I read it the first year I was teaching. I couldn't put it down. If I picked it up right now, like sticky note down. And that easily leads me to my next one, who's Dr. Chris Emdin. I am grateful to know both of those people, to have engaged with both of those people in person, to have those people look at me and like know who I am is like actually so insane to me every time it happens. But I think, again, their work is so revolutionary because it is so Black.
Yes,
it is so unequivocally, unquestionably, just unapologetically Black. And it's showing with clarity how genius we are innately. And it gives us not only that inspiration, but the practical tools to put in place to serve and support your young people. And so that's three.
That's three. One quick double dose so you could think about one more. And shout out to Chris Emdin, who's dropping a new book this March, with Lisa Delpit. And the first book I read of hers was what was it? It was
literally right here.
White people. Oh, you got a copy?
I don't have a copy, but I got my little card last time I saw Dr. Emdin.
So I could get back in my body. I was like, you got an art? You got an advanced with this copy? Anyway, and of course,
I wish I was that cool.
Yeah, shout out to Chris Emdin. Went to his hip hop ed conference this last year, like the end of last year. And the first
we was in the same building and we just didn't know each other yet because I was absolutely there. Yes,
at Teacher College.
Yes.
I was there.
Well,
I'm going this year, and
and me too. So let's do it. I'm so excited.
Meetup, yes. And the first book I read of his, although I have all of them read, of course, is For White Folks Who Teach in the Hood. So so are you going to are we going to put the three of them up, and you have one more spot for Mount Rushmore?
One more spot, I'm going to say Paulo Freire. Pedagogy of the Oppressed. I mean, we got James Baldwin to talk to teachers. We've got Paulo Freire, banking model, but like we have, and then we have the two more contemporary kind of folks. And I just think that for really, like, Bell Hooks is there with Malcolm. Like, how you gonna put me in this position? But those four, I definitely would probably uplift as like texts that I go back to, things that I reread, things that I've read in community with other people that just have solidified like where those texts live in where I gotta draw out of when them kids is
you got to tap into a place and then and
I gotta find it.
So you're not booted. Stay rooted so you're not booted. And I love the fact that although this wasn't a part of the question, that your selection for Mount Rushmore includes 4 authors too who are revolutionaries. So we'll be dropping those books in the chat and et cetera, et cetera. All right. And because I'm a low-key stalker and I have been stalking your page and been a fan of yours, I saw that you just got back from LA.
I did.
And I saw that you were at Knowledge Con. And before I asked you what that experience was like, because that is a revolutionary experience in terms of breaking 100%. Away from the traditional deficit-based conference. One quick question for the bookseum person in me. Did you pack a book with you when you traveled to LA?
Oh, I always got a book with me.
Okay, so what book did you pack? And then tell us about Knowledge Con.
I had Teaching to Transgress with me, which like how I have never read it is actually like crazy. How I had never read it. Right. Like how I had never read it is so wild to me. So I'm like taking my time to get through it. I'm about to get on a live series with my homegirl. We're about to start talking about Original Sins, which is another book that I'm like eating away at. But Original Sins that's a meaty book. I'm taking like each paragraph you want to have a conversation about. Yes. So I'm going to do it in community. It's going to be on live on Instagram. Y'all start following me. Y'all could just jump in the book club, get your book like here.
At Black on Black Ed. We got it.
Come on.
All right. So then tell us, you had those books in your bag going to LA. How was Knowledge Con? I saw that you were a speaker, but of course you were there to get fed, to get full. And of course you fed folks. Listen, what was it like? I'm low-key jealous.
It was incredible. I mean, I am intentional about the conferences that I go to every year. So like maybe my school will send us to something or whatever, but I really have like a collection of deeply Black, deeply revolutionary spaces that I go to each year. And Knowledge Con just got added to the list. It was so beautiful. It was so incredible being a speaker. I got to meet all of the other speakers the day before, which was so cool. We had conversation, had brunch together, had such a great time. Ra is a beast. It just to be known by him, to be loved by him, to be supported by him, and then to get to sit in his light. It's such a gift. He's so incredible. He's so smart. He's so forward thinking. He's so intentional with each move that he makes. And so just to watch what we had been in conversation about for quite some time that he was creating and then see it come to life in the way that it came to life. It was just so beautiful to be there as he announced that his work is going to start not only helping children get access to resources that are going to support them through their educational journey, but to allow attendance and active engagement in the classroom and outside of the classroom to now allow them to gain money toward college tuition, like in revolutionary. And so it was just so incredible. Dr. Kafele, I just come on.
I might have to meet you there too next year. I might have to meet you there too.
Come on, we just gonna do the circuit together.
Listen, to meet you there.
Right. It was just so incredible. And so, yes, I got to speak. It was great. We talked about student-centered practices on a school-wide level, and how we bring student voice into like really how we make decisions in the future about what policies and practices need to be put in place. And so that was incredible. And that was beautiful. I got to meet people online that like know me from my platform. And that was really, really dope. And then I just got to start building relationships with people who build relationships and like have a renewed sense of community with folks that I don't get to see super often from the OSG family. Shout out to them. And so it just was such a beautiful, like my husband came with me, my dad came with me. And so just to like have folks there that flew across the country to like be there in support, enjoy the warmth, get a nice little escape from this frigid cold over here. I don't even know what they got going on right now.
Anyway, That might be an offline separate TED talk,
because
but
it's ridiculous.
I definitely think I'm going to join you next year. And what you're making me think of is like in this age, especially post COVID, right? Those who are real ones, you need that palpable energy and community to be felt. You can pick up on a synergy and a vibe virtually, but there's nothing like being in community together. And I feel like generationally, when I think about today's young people, that has to, in a different reimagined way, be cultivated in them.
Yes.
They have the World Wide Web and social media in ways that we didn't at their developmental age.
Yes.
And I'm bringing that up as a segue to this next question, because although there are two ends of the spectrum in terms of thought in response to what this influencer did, Kai Cenat, right? I saw that on your stream, there was a conversation you had with one of your scholars about they wanted to pursue being a YouTuber, and it became like a teachable moment, right? Something we would have never thought of when we were in middle school, but that's a reality now. And when we think about Kai Cenat's platform and streaming and what may have started off as like frivolous but entertaining things, he's now totally pivoting and taking us on this journey with him, not only to promote reading in real time, but the mess of reading and learning. I saw that you said you were going to have the convo with your students about it. Did you have it yet? And if you did, how did it go? Was it messy? Was it great? Was it what you thought it was? Shout out to Kai.
Come on. We love you, Kai.
We love you.
No, because it really created an opportunity for the conversation around the literacy crisis to come from a positive place rather than coming from a deficit place. Why would students want to read when they're being told and watching videos of their teachers online talking about how they can't read? Sorry. So it's really important that we don't like throw everything into one place. And I think social media has just become a place where it's very difficult to have nuance. There was a time on social media. It was a short-lived period. I'm talking right at the beginning, right before the pandemic, where there was real community. There was real community. And then you blinked and it was a different beast, which I believe was very intentionally done. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. And so I think that that conversation was beautiful with the young people because it connected back to the original conversation, right? When I'm getting super frustrated with my kids, because sometimes they're lazy and sometimes they want to take the easy way out and sometimes they just want the answer to be given to them. And it's no fault of them themselves. It is a learned helplessness. I think it's so important to use that language over lazy or whatever, because it is a learned helplessness. I mean, how many of them during the pandemic in kindergarten and first grade with teachers out of frustration for this insane thing that they were experiencing during the pandemic to just give them the answer. So then they learned that, if I just get frustrated enough or if I just don't do the work for long enough, someone's going to answer it for me. They're going to tell me what to do. I'm going to copy it down with all my spelling errors included and none of my punctuation, and I'm going to move forward. And so when I'm sitting in my classroom saying, no, you need to put the period in the quotation marks. The period is still not in the quotation marks. And in a history class, because I believe that my young people need to be able to, when asked, write and express their thoughts through their writing. Not because I want them to pass an exam at the end of the year, but because I want them to have access to this skill. So should they decide one day that writing is something that they really want to do, that they know that they have to be a reader in order to be a writer, that they know that they have, like, it's just so imperative. And so I think that conversation was really great. The video is in drafts. It's coming, y'all, of the conversation with them, because where that conversation started was out of, what does success look like for you? And I even got comments on that video that were like, stop telling kids that they can do anything that they want to do because systemic errors. And I was like, so start chipping away at their belief about themselves young, so that when they're older, they can be comfortable with how horrible their life is and blame everybody else for why their life is hard, as if life is just not hard. Life is beautiful and fantastic and incredible, but life is hard. Whether you make $1 million, whether you make $10, your life is hard. Is there spectrums? Yes. But I've been listening to a podcast loop in the last week around, like, I kept telling myself, okay, when I make this much money, things are going to be easier. They're not.
Oh,
When I get married, things are going to be easier. They're not. When I get this school, and now I work at a school that I just love, things piss me off. People piss me off. Kids like things make me mad. But I've never worked in a place that I felt like this is where I'm supposed to be, where I have the agency to do just cool things in my classroom. I stopped teaching for the last 2 weeks, and we've been talking about Palestine, and we've been talking about Venezuela, and we've been talking about ICE, and we've been talking about Sudan and Congo, and we've been talking about why so many of them knew about the first 3 and didn't know about the last one. We've been having deep conversation in my classroom while working on their writing skill.
Oh, so they were learning. Imagine that.
Crazy. Instead of watching a TikTok video, having a very quick clipped do this version and then moving on. And so I think that what is so incredible about back to the original, this Kai Cenat thing, is that our kids are constantly learning. They're either learning the wrong things by way of the information that they are consuming, or they're learning incredible things that are being lost and just like dropped out of their minds because no one's following up with them. And they are learning things that they're going to be able to take and use and move forward. And so many educators, no fault of their own, or I mean some fault of their own, are teaching them in that middle piece. You're teaching them information that's going to fall off because your expectations is you're going to drop something in their head and it's supposed to be important to them. Mesopotamia, cool place. Do I care if they remember it? No. But do I care that they're able to identify the social hierarchy that existed in Mesopotamia and how that was replicated in Egypt and how that was replicated again in this place, and how that that shifts the way that they interact with each other. And it also shifts the way that you, being in the bottom of the social hierarchy, the way that you see the world differently, and the way that you're told that you shouldn't be told that you can be anything that you want, but that would never be told to people who are higher in the social hierarchy. Come on. And so,
ma'am, this is a church episode. You take us to church.
Come on. I mean, and in the beginning of the episode, I was supposed to say it. Because I was like, you said Kwame was before this. I said, that's the homie.
Hello.
That is the homie. I've been on his podcast.
Listen, we are 30 minutes in. And if you don't understand why I wasn't capping, I said she's my fave teacher coach. You if you're watching or listening, you're understanding why. And so please listen to this Black woman. Please listen to her. Listen to her, which is a perfect segue to episode 10, season 1. Brother Asif Wilson, shout out to Chi-Town. He gave us a sentence stem that he uses in his PD experiences that I promised all season 2 I was going to ask every guest. I want you to fill in the blank. You ready?
Come on.
If we had listened to Black women yesterday, how would you finish the rest of that sentence? If we had only listened to Black women yesterday, and that is multi-pronged. What you saying to that?
If we had listened to Black women yesterday, community would have always been the goal.
Ma'am, that might be a t-shirt. And I love to say that at least once every episode. That might be a t-shirt. Community. Come on now. Come on.
Has always been the goal.
I'm going to leave that there. At Black on Black Ed, if you are feeling fuzzy or gray about what that means, I mean, the sister is booked and busy all over, but she is a real one, so she will get to you and respond. You're going to have to reach out and ask her why. I don't need to, because I understand what she's talking about. So our first micro segment, I mean, this one is new, season 2. It's our twist culturally and pedagogically on Would You Rather. You could get with this or you could get with that. Not a Black Sheep fan, but, you know, got to infuse a little hip hop in there. I'm going to give you 2 options. You tell me which one you'd rather.
Okay.
Try not to sit on the fence, and you get 1 hall pass. You can plead the 5th only once.
All right, let's see.
Here we go. Would you rather be the teacher or be the student?
Student.
Sweet potato pie or peach cobbler?
Oh, peach cobbler.
Oh, yes, girl. Reform or rebuild?
Rebuild.
Boom. Insecure or girlfriends?
Oh, insecure. Easy.
Come on. Wait. Team Issa or Team Molly?
Issa.
Come on. I started having mirror talks with myself. Okay, yeah.
I be rapping.
I will pull that. Okay. Smaller classes or bigger budgets?
Ooh, smaller classes.
Copier jam or a Chromebook crash?
Chromebook crash, absolutely.
Yeah, who cares about the copy machine? Because we don't do worksheets in this revolution. How about this? So, would you rather play the game from the inside or have community give pressure from the outside?
Play the game from the inside.
Radical transparency or tactical silence?
Radical transparency.
I should have scratched that because you already said silence is not your thing. All right, here's the next one. Equity in access or equity in outcomes?
Equity and outcomes.
Bold disruption or incremental consistent change?
Incremental consistent change.
Okay, and shout out to Denzel, who's about to star in Black Panther 3. Are you going with Spike Lee classics or Ryan Coogler modern hits? Shout out to Cenat for breaking Black history.
Why is this the hardest one?
You get one hall pass to plead the fifth.
I'm not pleading the fifth. I already told myself that. I was like, you got to decide. I'm gonna go Ryan Coogler.
Woo! Okay, equity audit or empathy walk?
Empathy walk.
A child's question that stumps you or a student breakthrough that wows you?
Say the first one again. A student's question.
A child's question. Like they ask that question and you're stumped and you're low-key like invigorated and like, yes. Or the breakthrough that happens with that one child, that one child we really trying to support, and then it wows you like they got it.
Yeah. The curiosity, the question. Yeah.
Question that stumps you. All right. Go back and meet your great-great-grandparents or forward in time and meet great-great-grandchildren?
Great-great-great-parents.
And only because most PD is trash. Meaningful PD day or memorable personal day?
Memorable personal day.
Okay, here, this might be hard. Wicked or The Wiz?
Oh, The Wiz. Why was that hard?
Well, for some, it's relative. But here comes the one that I get side-eye with. Spades or Uno?
Oh my gosh, you're not going to like my answer.
Wait,
Uno.
Okay, so pause. If you have not been listening to prior episodes of season 2, no shade, no harm, no foul. But there has been a consistent pattern all season 2 of folks, I think, about to say what Mrs. Eva is going to about. Please don't say. I
love me some Uno. I do. I don't know what to tell you.
There's no Wi-Fi trouble. I'm pausing for a dramatic silence. All right. Okay. So classic Uno or Uno No Mercy?
Classic Uno. Because they be doing too much. They be doing way too much.
Listen, I might have to send you a small clip of my family throwing down this Christmas with Uno No Mercy. It was a whole tournament, and then
please do. It'll give me so much joy.
My cousin sent me a meme though, and it was been fact checked that putting a +2 on a +2 is not allowed. And she's like, "This is
Uno." Yeah, Uno. Didn't nobody ask you that?
Okay, beautiful. All right, and then. Journaling or hitting a joy playlist? Like I need that moment. Journaling or you tapping into some music?
Probably journaling.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful. Well, there it is. This or that. I kind of stumped you with one that I didn't even think I would stump you on, but you picked what you picked and she said what she said. And so in the spirit of journaling and joy playlists and music being inspiration as a form of the arts, we also ask every guest if you can name an artist whose swag matches your educational vibe and you're allowed to merge some. Who are you throwing in the pot and saying when they go on tour, they are the Mrs. Eva of the arts world?
Ooh.
I'm a little of this and a little of that.
I'm a little. J. Cole is too calm for me.
Okay. Did you hear his new track and see all this going on with him and this and that? Okay. That might be a separate TED Talk too. Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So J. Cole's too calm, even though I love his music, one of my favorite artists. Kendrick is the level of petty that I aspire to be. So Kendrick is absolutely getting it, but I'm a very R&B girl.
Okay.
So I'm going to say like, oh my goodness. I'm going to say like a Doechii Kendrick mashup. Like, I'm going to be in your face, but I'm also going to make you think, but I'm also going to be cute.
Yeah,
but I'm also going to be, you know.
I'm going to be the best friend of both.
Right.
Okay, so we do
Right.
vote you get. And so as a follow-up to that, one of the things we parallel or we sister with this pod is an untenured hype tape, where every guest is a song that is their hype song on a playlist. So you drag in, you wake up, you burnt the midnight oil doing your revolutionary work with your liberation library, but now you got to go teach the babies. Let me just put this song on real quick to get my energy right. What song are you getting?
Oh my goodness. There's so many. I'm thinking like Just Fine, Mary J. Blige.
Mary J. Blige. All right,
boom.
boom.
It's gonna get me hype. Yeah.
It's gonna get you hype. So there we have it. And she said she was an R&B queen through and through. And so episode 17, Unshakable, track 17 will be Just Fine by Mary J. Blige. And you can tap into that energy and vibe. Thanks to Okay, so we talk a little about music and revolution and the work that it takes. And, you know, there's also this subtext and conversation around hustle culture, right? And the need to rest versus hustle and grind when you're in this revolutionary role. How do you feel or help educators unlearn hustle culture and really martyrdom in schools? What does that look like for you?
That's so powerful. And I think it's the thing that shifted everything for me. A lot of what happens with teachers and burnout, in my opinion, and I can only speak about particular types of teacher. I'm not talking about teachers that are whining and complaining and they like you. I don't even understand why you became a teacher. If I'm going to be like, I'm not talking about those people.
Summer's off. That's why.
Some people like you don't even like children. So I don't understand. You know, so I'm not talking about them, but I'm talking about teachers who came into it with like, I want to be the person that I didn't have. Like that energy kind of brings you into teaching. I think that what it really is that there's a misalignment of what's being asked of you and what you got in the work to do. And so you spend a lot of time trying to be really good at what's being asked of you, even though a lot of it is ineffective and a lot of this is busy work. And then you want to, on top of that, also add the revolutionary work that you want to do, the conversations, the discussions, the this. And so now you're spending all this extra time after work, after school, asking questions, going to PDs, getting courses, reading books. I'm telling you about my first 3 years teaching. This is exactly what I did. Reading books, talking to all these people, started a podcast so I could interview Black educators, so I could understand how I was going to be good at this and do all of these things from this deficit model of I clearly don't know something because I can't figure out how to balance these two things. You can't balance oppression and liberation, friend.
Hello.
And the education system, a lot of what is expected of us is oppressive. And so because a lot of what's expected of us is oppressive and we want freedom and joy and community in our classrooms, you're absolutely right. It doesn't fit. So you have to say, no, this is my priority and I'm going to fit in what I can fit in with this. And like, I never was like, oh, I'm going to be teacher of the year. Never. Okay. I never had a belief system and expectation that I was going to go that route because I knew that I was pushing up against something that people don't even recognize how harmful it is when you just take it at face value. The traditional education system is harm, period. It is harmful to force children to context switch every 45 to 50 minutes developmentally. That doesn't make any sense. It is harmful to start testing children in first and second grade when they don't even know how to be a person yet. It is harmful to tie a student's goodness, smartness, their preparedness to be successful to an exam that we know evidence tells us does not assess learning, assesses is biased, does not assess learning the way that it says that it does, and is indicative of who has access to test prep, tutoring, and other resources and who does not. Like that is the fact of what we're doing. And you are measuring whether you are good enough based off of this or this. So you overcompensate and overcompensate and overcompensate, and you get more tired and you get more tired. And then one day you can't get up. Like you physically can't get out of bed. So you call out that day. And then you drag yourself out of bed the next day and you get there and then you cry yourself home on the way to work because you got another email from your administrator about another thing that you didn't do. And now I see those emails and I'm like, when it gets done, and it's probably not, and you probably gonna forget, and then I won. So like I have started to really, really get comfortable with, on my evaluation, I'm not gonna get a 2, I'm not gonna get a 4 on this. If I get a 4 on my classroom environment as a learning environment, you have eyes, period. If I get a 4 on this, period. If I get a 2 on this, well, y'all can have it. I don't
Oh,
care.
well. Oh,
So
well.
you have to start creating your own rules around
Yes.
what success looks like. And you have
Yeah.
to start there, because just doing that is going to allow you to stop doing so much of the overcompensating that's leading to the burnout. And then it becomes practical. What are the micro things that I can do? The beginning of my class, every single class, is 5 minutes of silent writing every single day. Some people say silence at the beginning of the class isn't good. Well, it works for me.
It's for
And it
me.
works for me
Hello.
because I teach 4 classes back to back. Then I have lunch. Accountability looks like to me, if you didn't do what you were supposed to do, you're going to do it. So you're going to see me during lunch. Come on,
Yes.
sit in here, do your work. Thank you so much, but it's going to get done. That's what accountability looks like to me. So sometimes I sacrifice my lunch to have children in there, or I sacrifice my lunch for meetings or to get work done so that I don't have to take it home. So most days I am actively working on my computer every minute from when I walk in the building to when I leave the building. And that is exhausting. It is tiring, but then I don't have to bring anything home. I can go to my workout class after school. I can have shout out to Peloton, sponsor me. Thank you. Right. Like I can do these things that are really important to me to do, that fuel and sustain me. And again, so many people are living so out of touch with their passion, with their purpose, what they were put on this earth to do, which I believe fully and completely that every single person has that thing. Because you are doing so little of that, you hate your life. You're getting up in the morning to go to work. You're coming back home to refuel, to sleep, to go to work. And that's not what life was meant to be. And so I think of it much bigger than here's the tip on how to hack your day. No, there's a sense. There is no cheat code. It is a sense of fulfillment and living in alignment with that, and how beautiful it is to be completely and utterly exhausted at the end of the week, but knowing that every single day I did something in alignment with my values. Every single day I did something to make the world a better place. Every single day I did something that served and supported an educator. A week doesn't go by that I don't get a long message from a teacher saying how I supported them in their classrooms. And there is nothing more incredible than that. And for me, that's what it is, because I randomly started posting videos and had zero idea that I was going to gain 50,000 followers in a matter of like this tiny period of time. Like you could not have told me that I was going to grow like this last year. And so now that I get the return on investment. And there's a tiny little tidbit. I'm not short-winded. I'm sorry. But a tiny little thing is, if you are someone who needs affirmation, which there's nothing wrong with that. And all these people online saying, just love yourself into, I need my words of affirmation. Somebody tell me I'm doing a good job.
Yes.
People will say teaching is a thankless job. Teaching is a thankless job because you've never asked to be thanked.
Hello.
I create the conditions in my classroom. I have, it must be 5 or 6 letters right here. This entire thing is letters from students and other teachers that I have asked them to tell me what my impact on your life is. I have a whole journal back there with letters that my friends wrote me for my birthday. And so what I reach for when I am, why are you doing this? And why do you care? And why are you sacrificing things that you don't have to sacrifice in your life in order to build this business, to do this work, to have this impact, to walk in my classroom and be just, I be in there giving it to them.
Killing it.
Okay. It is because 1, I have people that are supporting me, and 2, I am focused on the outcome of my work. I am focused on, and I'm also focused on an inner sense of fulfillment. So if the inner sense of fulfillment requires you to get that affirmation from people, ask for it. And people are more than happy to take the time to pour into you. But when we don't ask, then they go about their day, you go about your day, and nobody ever gets that opportunity. So that's the long-winded way of like, how do you make it all
it's not
happen?
long-winded, it's appropriate and thorough. And I love that you're lifting that, because even when I think about ask and you shall receive, one of the things you touched on that is profound is like, how can we build violent systems for grownups and then expect kids to be safe inside of them? And you can go back and forth filling that in with other things, right? How are we going to have the body being this metacognitive, empathetic, and we don't embody that, which goes back to, again, your first tenet of your framework for revolutionary teaching. And if you can't embody it, you can't instill it in others, and especially not the babies, because they know cap when they see it and feel it.
Fake.
And so
they're gonna eat you up if you fake.
all the way, especially middle school. I go like this to middle school teachers. I did high
They're gonna
school,
eat you
I
up.
dabbled in elementary, but I'm just fluent in a level of the language of sarcasm that I can't. Like middle school is not the place to be heavily sarcastic. They
Not,
don't.
but I use it as a teaching tool every time.
I
Every
love it.
time.
Every time.
Because
So
it's gonna come out. I'm traditionally a high school teacher.
oh, nice. So, and
Yeah,
you chose to go down to middle
I
school?
did.
Okay. That might have to be an offline. I need your why for that too. But tell us something that young people have taught you that you think adults need to hear more often. Like something they've taught you recently that it's like, come on, adults, like out of the mouth of babes.
It's not hard to forgive.
Hmm.
Listen, I'm gonna say, I've said it before in this episode. I try to say it online as much as I can. I am not healed, I'm healing. Okay? So I have my days when yesterday was one of them.
Crash out.
Yesterday was one of them. And it wasn't one for and I'm working on that. Like it wasn't the whole day. It was one class with one set of students and one very specific trigger. And today I started the class standing at the door and I put up the force field. And I said, oh my gosh, it was so good to see y'all. I haven't seen y'all since Tuesday. It was like Tuesday. I said, yeah, because yesterday, I don't even know what happened, honey. Yes. I don't know who that was.
That was not me.
I don't know what was going on. But we just going to pretend we don't even need to pretend because we were only together on Tuesday, right? They were like, and came right back in. And I had another class where, and this one was like, it was so unnecessary for me to get as frustrated as I did. Yeah. And I like went into the next teacher's class and I was like, I'm so sorry. I am sorry. That was unnecessary. Y'all was wilding. But the way that I reacted to it did not have to be that. And if I want y'all to react differently, then I have to react differently. And I'm really sorry that I did that. And I don't want you to walk into this class and lose learning because we didn't do what we needed to do next door. And like they came by before they went to lunch. We're like, hey, Miss Eva, you can have lunch. What are you eating today? Like it was like an immediate, like, let's move on because they saw one that I was authentically, truly apologizing, not because it was, this is what it is. And I can accept that sometimes I need to start over and like y'all clearly need to start over more than I do, but.
And not for nothing, it is probably revolutionary for them to have an adult apologize to them. Come on. And whether it's my childhood or my professional career, I could probably count on one hand the times that an elder of mine at whatever age I was apologized to me. So that's another reason why you're revolutionary and a real one. I love that you lifted that and you gave us that real-time example. And so lastly, before we hit our next micro segment, I love that you, like I said in your intro, you are not afraid to call trash, whether it's a practice or something in the system or a requirement. What's one thing you think the system has labeled as trash that you want to reclaim as treasure for Black and brown kids? Oof. And then maybe also the reverse, something that the system calls a treasure of Black and browns that we are going to label, no, that's actually trash.
Right. So so the one that is trash, but actually is treasure, is restorative justice, restorative classroom management, restorative practices. Y'all schools ain't doing it right. Y'all schools are not holding them accountable. The center of restorative justice is accountability, is allowing for the harm done. If a student throws things all over the classroom, they might not clean it now, but there will be I have told the people who clean, I have put a poster up in English and in Spanish just in case. Do not pick this up.
Yes, leave it.
They gonna clean it up.
Yes.
Because accountability requires someone to recognize what they did wrong, recognize the impact. It's not quick. It's not a lollipop after I send you to the dean's office. It's not a performance plan that gets you more accolades than it does with the student who comes here every day and does what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, or rapid fire apology. It's the changed, consistent behavior.
Thank you. And it's your inability to be present in our community until you have restored that harm. And that is what most schools are not willing to do because it's disruptive to learning. You know what's disruptive to learning? A child throwing something across the classroom. You know what's disruptive to learning? Students who don't feel safe in their classroom because of the behavior of this child. You know what's disruptive to learning? Spending 60% of my class period managing one or two children's behavior. That's disruptive. So if you want learning,
you didn't hold them accountable for picking up the paper.
Right, because they know they're going to go back to your office and get a lollipop. So incredible practice is restorative justice. It's community oriented. It's focused on harm reduction, not on punishment. It's focused on accountability, not on punishment. And most people are not willing to do the work that it requires because we're so committed to the traditional version of the education system. And we're so committed to this parents need to do and bring and send fully formed children into the school building as if they're not with us for 8 hours, oftentimes longer than they are with their parents. And that we are not a role in how they have come to understand how to behave in a place. So that's the first one. The second one, the one that is treasure to some people and trash to others.
Treasured by the system, but it's actually trash.
Treasured by the system, but it's actually trash, is PBIS. I understand incentive. I understand incentives for behavior in very, very, very specific cases. I believe in incentives for attendance. I believe because most of the time attendance has nothing to do with the child.
Yes.
Especially in middle school and under. High school becomes a little different conversation, different day. But often there's a need that is not being met, and that is why that child is not coming to school. Whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Children want to learn. School sucks most of the time, so I don't want to learn.
I don't want to go to school. Done.
Right. And so the reason why I struggle with PBIS is because I believe that respect is it's a skill that can be learned. I believe that community is a skill that can be learned. I believe that being supportive to your fellow person around you is a skill that can be learned. And so I am more committed to having children behave in a way that they need to behave in because it is what this community needs. I am not talking about extreme behavioral disturbances. I am not talking about kids that are throwing tables, and PBIS wouldn't work for them either. What is needed is a human-centered mindset to behavior management. What is needed is an empathy-driven mindset to student behavior, to allowing there to be a diverse set of student behaviors that are acceptable. If you need to pace the back of my classroom in order to consume the knowledge, yes, it's going to irritate all get out of me. I'm going to be annoyed. But if that means that you are learning, then that's what needs to happen. If you want to sit on the floor in the back of the classroom to get it, cool. There are things that, and it's not going to be the entire class period, but there are going to be spaces and times that were created in this space for you to feel like you are able to have autonomy in this space, and I'm able to have autonomy and things that I need to happen. Those 5 minutes at the beginning of class are non-negotiable because, again, I just taught 3 classes before this. I have not stopped all day. I need a 5-minute break at each transition to breathe, to take a second, to take attendance, to reset myself, to think about what I need to do in this class that's different from my last class. So it's non-negotiable. And some days it's 10 minutes. Some days it's 15.
Imagine that.
Because I need a minute, and I'm going to be a better teacher for the remaining 35 minutes of the class period than I would have been should I have tried to rush through and had the perfect I do, you, we do, you do, turn, shift, turn and talk, move. Like, because we treat the classroom like it's robotic, then we start treating behavior like it's robotic. And that's why people like PBIS. I put a coin in you and you do what I want. I give you this, I give you that. It's another version of robotizing human beings, like making that instead of, it sounds like I said robotism.
I love
that's not a word, but like
it is now.
Like making children into these, I give you this, you do this for me. Thank you for it. And that's just not how I think, because again, if that's how we teach them to manage themselves, then what happens when the incentive is gone? When they're just in their adult life. So now they're holding in all this angst and overwhelm and frustration because they want to get their ticket at the end of the week so that they can get a prize from the prize box. I'm not mad at you for using it. And if it works for you, you like it, I love it. But I think that there is something really, really, really important about us breaking our students away from this, I give you this, you give me this transactional relationship with behavior and respect, because it's so easy for one of us to miss our thing. And now where does the respect, behavior, community that we built in this classroom go if it's all like held on this arbitrary thing?
This transaction. And what happens when there's no tangible reward connected? Because it's ancestral and it comes back in a karma way or through a network, or now you crashing out because you think you haven't gotten the thing, and you already have. You don't even recognize it because you haven't built that muscle. So
I mean,
we're saying, oh hell no.
And it makes students believe that they're supposed to get something for everything that they do. And then we're wondering why, when we want them to do the work, they don't do it. In my class, students don't know anything that I'm going to grade. Other than like assessments that are clearly assessments. Quiz. But if they have a discussion, I can turn around and be like, oh my gosh, everybody got over a 90% on this. Beautiful. Everybody spoke as many times as they were supposed to. Whatever. They were like, this was a grade? Yep.
I love it.
If we have a classwork assignment, I pick 3 a week. I pick 3 a week randomly. It's not about, oh, most of them didn't do it, so now I'm going to pick this one so that I can give them a 0. Because this is what people who are need some support mentally, like teachers be doing that. They're like, oh, I wasn't going to grade this, but now since y'all didn't do it, I am.
I'm going to grade it. Everybody gets a 0.
What type of sense does that make? Grades are supposed to reflect learning. Clearly, this wasn't a learning thing.
Yes.
It's so baffling. So I think that like we need to get away from, again, everything being this transaction in education, because then students only do things when they are going to get something. And that is why we have such a huge manifestation of behavior issues, because every like parents and schools and everyone's adopted this, I give you this, you give me that. Capitalism infiltrating your mind.
And not only that, but it removes the whole, when we talk about revolution, it's relational, right? It's about being in community. And sometimes there is no reward for it other than just knowing the higher good. So I don't know, sis, we might have to do you want that to be your oh hell no? Because our next segment is you getting to go in on a topic, but I feel like that was your oh hell no too. PBIS.
Oh no. My oh hell no. Oh hell no.
Yeah, what are you saying oh hell no to?
The oh hell no for me in education is keeping teachers that don't like kids. Union, I don't care. Like, I'm down. I want for there to be protections for teachers. But why are you protecting teachers that are not protecting kids?
That part.
Tell me that.
That part. All the way.
Get them out of here.
Out. Get them out.
Y'all are AI obsessed. And you got human beings that ain't been doing the job. And you think the artificial intelligence is going to do it.
Is the problem. They're the harmful ones. Man.
I get them people out of there now. Get them out of there.
Now let me do a little I don't like to use the term, but you'll know what I mean. Devil's advocate. Are we being restorative about it, or it's like zero tolerance? First harm to a child, bye-bye certification, get out of here.
Harm to a child, I think I appreciate that. Harm to a child, I've caused harm to many children. If I made them uncomfortable, if I triggered an insecurity, and I might have done it intentionally, unintentionally, it happens. Yeah. We are all, I won't say we are all. There are many people who are very clear. I've talked to so many administrators that I'm under, or I've talked to all my administrators, because I was always the person like,
hello.
In the meeting. So where it's like, yeah, I know, but then we have to hire someone else, and then we have to, and I'm a teacher in the charter world.
Okay.
And so, and it sickens me even more there, because you have the autonomy to get them out of there, and you be letting them stay. And so again, are we going to be restorative about it? I think that that's really important. I think that it's really important to be able to ask of someone to show up. But the teachers that come to the PD that's about relationship building, that are, and I got to sit here and learn about how you have a relationship when they can't even read. Well, maybe they would want to learn how to read if you didn't talk to them exactly how you're talking in this meeting.
Hello.
Maybe they would want to do the work in your class if you weren't consistently trying to find a reason to make them wrong. If you weren't consistently trying to affirm your confirmation bias around what you already believe about these children. And I think that there's a lot of administrators who are those people. And then there are a lot of administrators that are not, who allow it to continue because of the discomfort that comes along with the other thing. I think that there are a lot of people who cause harm that have really, really, really well intentions and that can move the needle when they're willing to be a learner. And that's why in that rapid round, when you ask me, would I rather be a student or a teacher? I would rather be a student every day of the week. And I would argue as a teacher, I am a student. And the best versions of teachers are students. I am a student of my students. I'm a student of my craft. I am a student of my own biases and things that I have that are stopping me from being able to really see what it is that I'm doing, what I'm not doing. And there's a million reasons and a million ways that I fall short constantly. But there is a very real need to get out of this mindset that just because you're a teacher, that the system is the reason why you are walking in that classroom and actively choosing to harm children. You're walking in that classroom, the amount of teachers that don't even teach anymore. That IXL and Newsella and here just do it, sit there and work. I did no indirect instruction. I did no, get them out of here.
Get them out. All right. Well, we heard it there. We're saying, oh, hell no to that. And the administrators who are too scared to do that work, charter or otherwise. Oh, hell no. They got to go. No. And that's a perfect segue to our next micro segment, which is called Deuces. We're giving you 3 harmful realities in education. Hopefully, not many of them you have experienced, or maybe you've heard about it. Whatever it is, Mrs. Eva gets her magic wand. And as of tomorrow, she can only remove 1. But they're all harmful and they all got to go. And if I do this right, they get a little spicier. You ready?
All right.
All right. So here's the first one, to chuck up the deuces to only 1. All the Black staff are only security, custodial, and cafeteria employees in the school. All the Black staff are skin folk, but not kinfolk. Or all the Black teachers only teach the remedial or non-advanced courses. Which one got to go?
Which one got to go? All the Black people being skin folk, but not kinfolk.
Come on. And no explanation needed. She said what she said. Google it if you don't understand her why. All right. Next one. In the spirit of Black History Month. 1, only teaching MLK Jr. and Rosa Parks every single year because they are the only 2 in Black history, right? 2, reducing Black history to slavery, struggle, and civil rights. No joy, no excellence, just, struggle, struggle, struggle. Or 3, treating February like the only month where Black excellence can exist.
Oof. Oh my God, that's hard. Oh my goodness. Okay. Only one. What was the middle one again?
That reducing Black history to slavery, struggle, civil rights, done.
Yeah, get that one out of there.
We out after tomorrow because your wish is our commands. Like we have that power. I love it. All right. Here's the next one. Teachers not having joy when teaching students. Teachers not having high expectations, or teachers not showing interest beyond the hours of the school day.
Teacher.
No joy, no high expectations, or no interest past 3 p.m. The bell rang.
No interest past 3 p.m. We get rid of that one.
Come on, whole child. We got to go. Here's the next one. Expecting our Black and brown babies to be more mature than others. You know, the adultification. Policing hair, clothes, culture, speech, and all of that. No AAVE. Or valuing Black and brown students, but only when they code switch.
So I have to pause because I feel like I might have been answering these questions wrong. I'm getting rid of the one.
You think
and the other 2
harm. The other
right,
2
and the other 2 stay. Okay, great. I've been doing this right. But all right, let's go back.
There's no wrong. Actually, there's no wrong, sis, because you get to pick how you want it to go. So treating Black and brown kids like holding them to a higher adultified expectation, policing their hair, clothes, and vernacular, or only valuing them when they code switch.
Policing. That one gotta go.
Gotta go. Police anything, gotta go. And that's another separate TED Talk. Here's the next one. Teachers who promote Black history, shout out to February, but crush Black futures. Teachers who want to teach Black and brown students, but they're not willing to learn from them because what do they know? Or teachers who celebrate compliance, but won't cultivate genius. Shout out to Goldie.
Very much.
Very much.
Very much. Which one has to go?
Mm-mm. I know. Remember, you could plead the fifth. You get one hall pass this whole episode.
I don't want to plead the fifth. I don't want to plead the fifth. I don't want to plead the fifth. I keep asking you to repeat them, but it's because my ADHD medication is absolutely wearing off.
Here's the first one. Here's the first one. Yay, Black History Month. And then March and all the rest of the year, you're crushing Black futures, right?
Yes.
The next one. I'll go in that district and teach the Black and brown kids, but they can't teach me anything. What do I have to learn from them? Or, yay, they're quiet, they're in their seats, right? But you're not cultivating genius because you value clients, but not cultivating genius.
I love that. It's the first one, though. The first one gotta go.
Yeah.
Blocking the futures.
And then the other 11 months, you're doing me dirty.
No, gotta get that out of here.
All right, here's a short one. I'm gonna keep it short now. Whitewash curriculum, white savior mentality, or white fragility.
We gotta get the white savior mentality out here. I could let you cry.
Yeah, you could cry. You could be fragile, but you
the white savior mentality got to go.
I love it. And then here's the last one: being treated like a checkbox. Oh, we have our Black educator. Check. Being kept in a box. I hire you, but stay within these boundaries, these confines. You can't be revolutionary. Or being boxed out of opportunities for growth. You're a teacher. Why are you trying to be a principal or admin? Just be a Black teacher.
Oh, that middle one, because you can box me out, but the other two, I'll get you together.
You can check a box. You could try to box me out, but you're not keeping me in a box because I determine my boundaries. And she said what she said. So shout out, you just survived the deuces. That wasn't that bad.
Yes, no.
Here's our last micro segment, because one of the things I know that you have no time for that is pure trash is when someone tries to filter, edit, or tell you what you mean when you're saying something. But we know what it is to be in some spaces and have to put up that mask, that filter for the real message to be heard. But in this segment, they say, you get to give your first unfiltered, expletives allowed clapback to something that you're about to hear.
All right.
And I have no hesitation that you will hesitate. You will not hesitate. So here we go. They say, oh, you're just an angry Black woman. You say,
you know what? You're right. I am an angry Black woman. I'm absolutely angry. And for you not to be shows me more about you than I would ever need you to tell me. Because for you not to be angry that Black people are being killed in the street, for you not to be angry that children are being ripped out of their homes, for you not to be angry that there is a person in the White House that couldn't vote in some places, but is allowed to be the president of the United States. I just think it's fascinating to me that you think that calling me an angry Black woman was going to stop me from reading you for filth. And you might not know what reading you for filth means, but you can look that up because I'm so angry I can't teach you right now.
I can't teach you anything.
I am absolutely.
Shout out to Sharifa.
Come on, Black Center for Black Educator Development.
This is why we need Black teachers, because ain't nobody got time for that filth. And why aren't you angry is the real clapback. Thank you for that. All right, here's the next one. They say, don't rock the boat or be revolutionary until you get tenure. Just get your tenure and then do all of that. Please stop, Mrs. Eva. You say,
you can keep your tenure because whether they kick me out this classroom or not, I'm still going to be revolutionary. I'm still going to be impacting kids. I'm still going to be focused on the future of Black children and everybody else who's on the wave toward liberation and freedom, instead of staying in this tiny little box that you have forced yourself into.
And that's why they not like us. And the dog is barking because he's like, and
I agree.
Too. I agree. He concurs. All right, here's the next one. They say putting the kids in the driver's seat, that's too radical. And that's too much responsibility for these young people. We need to stay behind the wheel as the adults in the room. You say,
you've been behind the wheel for so long and look at the outcome. How about you switch it up?
Booyaka. How about that? They say revolution is for the streets, not the classroom. Like that's too hood, too ghetto. You say
the classroom can be used as a site of oppression, but it can't be a site of revolution, because I think that a lot of the ideas that children walk around with, that children that become adults walk around with about revolution, is that it has to be bloody and dying and killing and ripping people's hearts. Now, sometimes that's what it's got to be, but the revolutions of white people are praised and celebrated in the curriculum. The revolutions of Black people are seen as bloody and gross and nasty. Why? Because when the white people were the winners, it was good. When the Black people were the winners, they spent hundreds of years trying to decimate those communities.
Girl, they better not ever say this to you because I know you will go in longer on them for this filth. All right, so here's the next one. Teachers don't need to make more money. Our kids are barely able to compete nationally or even globally academically. They need more training and competence. They don't need higher pay. You say.
Maybe if teachers didn't have to have second jobs, they would be more active and participants in making sure that we could close those gaps. But because they are trying to get what they need to eat and feed their children, they are worried about that and not how they're going to be the best educator that they can be.
I'm done. I did your fellow Bronx Fat Joe lean back on that one because everything she just said, bold, italicized, underlined. And last one, they say, your beautiful Liberation Library, it's about to be banned. It should be banned. Nope, shut it down. Don't let it get out there. You say.
They can say whatever they want to say. They told Harriet Tubman. They told Rosa Parks. They told Malcolm X. They told. You can tell me what you want to tell me, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Listen, this revolution has been recorded and it will not be on television televised, but we thank you so much for tuning in. And we're going to close with one of your quotes from your recent newsletter that I just love. Getting the support you need is how you gain the confidence to lead your silent revolution. It's not always, but sometimes it comes to dying in the street and marching and protesting, but there are micro silent revolutions you can engage in and invite young people to engage in every day. Yes, even in your classroom. And here at Sadie's, we say community is a verb. Otherwise, you just live in a neighborhood. And finding dope revolutionary souls like yourself to be and stay connected to not only sustains us, but it's what the work needs. And so I've been learning too, not to confuse company with community. I heard someone say, like, what did they say? Like company, they fill the room and they clap for you when you perform, right? But community, they fill your spirit and they cover you where you're weak. And in this season we're in nationally, educationally, and worldwide, this season requires people who will build with you, not just stand with you. And so we want to supremely and exponentially thank you, Mrs. Eva, for not only giving us a blueprint for building, but for truth telling, for vulnerability, for letting us know it's okay to apologize to young people. And moreover, they can say what they want to. Be about this work 10 toes down for real. Any closing words for our viewers? And also tell us where you'll be next. I saw that February 10th, I'm tuning in. You're on the pod for SEL with SEL for the culture. So we'll be tapping in to support you with that. But where else can they follow you? What do you have coming up next so they can stay connected besides your newsletter?
Absolutely. At Black on Black Ed, go to the link in my bio. You'll be on my email list where I send about 3 emails a week just to give you a little dose of something to keep you going. I am going to be on February 10th. Just like you said, I'm going to be on a panel for We Do It for the Culture. Also the homies. I love them so much. Jamila and Kareem are doing such incredible work. I am going to be hosting a 4-day free challenge for educators called the Radical Retreat Challenge. I am going to be doing my first in-person retreat in DC this summer. It is something that I'm like, I almost have anxiety about. I'm like, are people gonna come? How's this gonna go? It's gonna be in DC. And so we're gonna have like a nice little, we're gonna get a house, it's gonna be cute. And so just as a precursor to that, we're gonna be serving and supporting educators radically retreating from the harm of the education system for 4 days, planning out completely free how they are going to thrive through the rest of the school year. And so if that's something that you're interested in, please at Black on Black Ed, I'm telling you, and I will give you anything that you need.
I need some childcare. I need to pull up. I got 3, 5. We're a blended family, but I got 3 under 10. I got to pull up. I'm gonna figure something out. I got till the summer. I'm gonna figure something out.
Let's do it.
You are such a real one. And again, I spoke to you a little before we recorded about, in some ways, the third of this experience that's cathartic for me. So thank you for pouring into me and giving some encouraging words about staying true and 10 toes down. And to our Vibe tribe that's listening or watching, thank you for tuning in. Remember, Black History is not a month. It's a mindset. It's for a lifetime. And if anything, and if nothing else, stay blessed, stay hydrated, and most importantly, stay unshakable, because she said what she said.
Absolutely. I am so excited to have been here. Y'all, be revolutionary teachers.
And if you can't, Get out the system, because we already told you, oh, hell no, to anyone who's not about the revolutionary life and doing harm to our babies. There you have it. Speaking your truth can never go left because it's your right. Stay blessed.
Bye, y'all.